is making bold statement about governance. Governor Ibanji has approved the appointment of Senator Olubunmi Adetumbi as the Chief Economic Advisor to the state government. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Media, Yinka Oyebode, the appointment of the two-time senator who represented Ekiti North Senatorial District is with immediate effect. Jide?
I'm so excited about the choice of Adetumbi because he was clearly one of the best senators of his generation, at the time when he was in the Senate. He was clearly one of the stars, always speaking and standing on the side of the truth.
Yeah.
You know, where he needed to criticize the government of the day, despite being an APC senator, he did that. And people liked him. In fact, I remember where we were talking, I had a discussion with Senator Alindome, and he said that it was unfortunate that one of the brightest senators that they had did not return to the upper legislative chamber. So he's one bright person that Nigeria still needs. And for his state to have given him this role is something that makes me happy, because the state is bound to benefit from his wealth of experience. And the good thing is he has asked not to be paid for the services that is going to render the state. The governor is already behaving like a proper Omoluabi. You know, when we were talking about him, a friend of mine described him as a cross between Segun Oni and Fayose. Fayose was the street guy. You see him on the street, very accessible. This governor is very, very accessible.
Yes. He has been reaching out to Ekiti stakeholders before he took over divides.
Across party divide. Bimbo is in SDP. He attended Bimbo's event the other day.
Bimbo Daramola?
Yes. And you see him even attending ward meeting of his party. He's showing to people that he's really a grassroots man. You see him, the fire share in him. You see him going to inspect projects. You see him in daylight moving around inspecting projects and all that. People like to see their governors accessible. You know,
as a governor, you are there like God Almighty. Nobody can.
Where they can see you and you are traveling around, they don't see you are not available. That's the point. That's the reason many people like him now. They see him as accessible. So it's not a question of, look at the Lawe road, for example. He had to, because the people were suffering, he had to now build, construct a bypass so that the people don't have to do the Israeli journey just to get to Ado Ekiti. That is a governor that cares. And this, if the poor people, the ordinary people do not feel you as a governor, then you should be worried, especially during your first term. Now, the people of Ekiti know that, yes, in terms of welfare, the governor is taking care of that. Areas of the wages of local government workers are already being cleared systematically. In no time, the areas, I think it's about 6 months areas, will be gone. So this is, Oyebanji has started well. And if he continues along this line, don't be surprised if all of the people that used to be in the rival parties
will just come. We'll make them. This shows that John Kaide Fayemi and the Ekiti people did not make the wrong choice.
Exactly. And I'm very glad that the governor is taking it from where Governor Fayemi stopped. With the appointment of this man who has background in finance, project financing, a man who worked with CBN, worked with Cabri, worked with DFID, worked with USAID. I think the man is coming with a lot of pedigree into. And if you see Ekiti may be one of the smallest states in Nigeria, but it's a state that is blessed with resources.
Human resources. Human capital.
Even natural resources. Ekiti land used to contribute about 40% of the cocoa that the Western region had at the time of Awolowo. Now, currently Ekiti is having about, I think, 6.5 IGR, 2.8 billion GDP. But I think that this man will be able to come up with initiatives, advise the governor on how to build the capacity, continue to build on the capacity of the state economically. I think it's a very good development for Ekiti.
Nice one by Governor Oyebanji. Now, for every career, especially military and paramilitary, promotion is an elixir to more dedication and better performance. The Police Service Commission has approved the appointment of Assistant Inspector General AIG Olukayode Egbetokun as the Deputy Inspector General of Police DIG, who will be representing the Southwest Zone. DIG Egbetokun will be replacing DIG Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, who retired on the 15th of March. The commission also approved the promotion of 24 commissioners of police to the next rank and Assistant Inspector General of Police, including the Commissioner of Police in charge of Ogun State, Frank Mba, the former commander of the Rapid Response Squad, RRS, in Lagos, Olatunji Disu, is among the 33 officers promoted to the rank of Commissioner of Police. Jide, I spoke with one Commissioner of Police in Adamawa, and he told me that the submits for any police, what the government is owing you is to get to the rank of police, Commissioner of Police. Now, if you now go ahead to AIG, DIG, that is a political appointment. That means, you know, God is really on your side and everything. So, congratulations to the likes of Frank Uba. Frank Uba is not 6 months in Ogun State. He has been promoted to that elite squad, AIG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, and our own dear friend, RRS, Olatunji Disu, from RRS to the, what do they call it?
Is that IRT?
IRT, yes.
Response team,
yes. IGP response team, Olatunji Disu, now a full-blown Commissioner of Police.
Yes, it's a thing of joy to me, and to see people that we had always been happy with because of their dedication of joy. You know, someone like Frank Mba, when he was brought to Lagos the first time as spokesperson, he distinguished himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Distinguished himself, and then was taken to Abuja to become first PRO. Came back again, you know, to do that job. Is a measure of the quality that he has for different IGs.
They always consider want to bring him back. Good, even when the rank was above, they want to bring him back as.
And you know, he then became somebody training police PROs, the PPROs at state level. He became the person training them at the academy. So to see him rise to the rank of AIG is the blessing of God, and it is testament to his hard work, inventiveness, and capacity. In everything, capacity shines through. If you do not have capacity, even if you have integrity and you have honesty, you don't have enough. You must have capacity, because that capacity is what will take you further in your chosen career. Because in this is the job that they do, the policeman's job, is a demonstrable job. If you are good at it, people will know.
Yes.
Your track record will show that you are good. Policemen, especially those of them who are of the operations cadre, for example, those of them in the operations line, the number of arrests they make, convictions and the rest, stand them out. So their KPI their competence is measured by the number of arrests they make. If you say you are an operations person in the police and you are not a hands-on police officer and you are not making enough arrests, look at Edgar when he was here. Edgar was a proper police operations person, and even in the night he would lead his juniors to go and raid criminals' hideouts.
In Lagos,
he enjoyed doing it.
Good, wonderful CPs.
Yes, he enjoyed doing it, and sometimes he would even, just like
the man that went to
Odumosu will carry out raids in the night. You won't know. That is actually that the CP, he can decide to move around in the night and catch policemen who are misbehaving. That's Odumosu for you.
An AIG before he left.
Huh? Yes, just before his retirement, they gave him that rank. So I'm happy that people who have done well are being rewarded. Look at Egbeto Kuntu, who was in Kwara.
DIG.
Yes, he was here in Lagos and then became CP in Kwara. He too now is the one to represent the Southwest now amongst the DIG. So the police is, they impress me by the way they go after the back decks in their ranks. They also impress me by the way they reward hard work. But the war against the bad eggs, the black legs in the police must continue, because it is those bad legs that are destroying the good name of the Mbas, of the Edgars, of the people who are the shining lights of our police, the Dissus of this world. They need to purge the force of those criminals wearing police uniform, extorting money from criminals, and then taking their lives after taking all the money from them. Look at what happened in Anambra State, for example. That's not good enough. We can't continue to allow that to happen. There is a video now of some policemen torturing a woman. They removed her bra and left her breast dangling, and they were just flogging her. Why should we have people in the police who are still behaving like that despite the NSAS protests? It means that the people who are still wearing police uniform, whose conduct, whose idiosyncrasies bring them to the level of animals, they are still remaining in the force. And we need to purge them.
I think largely we have to blame the rank and file and the process of recruiting this rank and files. Exactly. When you see people that never do well in the society, armed robbers in the society, or retired armed robbers in the
recruitment.
Yes.
In my experience with the police, even as a journalist, I've discovered that when you meet senior officers, they attend to you very well. You can walk to a DPO. I've had that experience.
No, if you see some civils, there
are some senior officers who are next to animals.
I agree with you.
Also, what we are talking about in Anambra, is it other ranks that are guilty?
Well,
check now. You see senior people.
In my own experience, I have seen very good senior officers, but most of the atrocities are perpetrated by those ones that are on the road. And the truth of the matter is, they need to look into the mode of recruitment. Who are the people? Are we recruiting people who are failures, who are frustrated, people who couldn't make their own level, and then they've tried every other thing, and then they now see police as a dumb site.
Armed robbers in their communities.
Exactly.
Then
do we do background check on the people? Do they do background check on the people they are recruiting? Those are some of the questions they need to ask. You can't look at the one he described now, subjecting a woman to such level of indignity. It doesn't make sense. You have to be mad and idiotic for you to do that kind of thing. You are not human. You are not a human.
And they were tying her hand behind her back. They removed her top completely. The bra was gone. Why would you go to that extent with a woman? Anywhere outside of this country that they see such a video, they are going to conclude that we're animals here. Honestly. And it makes no sense. And if someone is a civilian who told them to do that, policemen should not just after being given money, just simply forget that training.
If you remember, the police orderly of a pastor, the pastor collected AK-47 from that pastor and went on pulpit with it. And the orderly left his own ammunition. How much would they have given you? You left your power. Give the pastor.
Yes.
And that was that Sunday costume.
And whereas the pastor does not belong among people permitted to carry that caliber of a weapon. It's not, it's just part of what. Is that really pastoring? Is that pastoring? Is it simply to stand before the congregation and be preaching politics? Is that pastoring? That's not pastoring. What did you want to what analogy were you trying to what example were you trying to set? What argument pushed you to the point of using live using firearms. When they could actually design something that looks like a gun.
He was arrested.
A lot of pastors.
No, that won't be the last. Another one will still be.
A lot of so-called pastors have brought shame to their pulpits. It's so
Honestly,
terrible. It's so terrible.
Highly politicized, highly compromised.
Especially during this election period.
And as we commend the officers that they've actually done well, we have to also tell the police management, those ones carrying bags for madam, those ones carrying bags, those ones that will go and collect food for madam.
And you see, I even still blame the senior police who are the people who posted them to go and work with madam. Every new IG will tell us they are withdrawing all the people
from the VIPs,
policemen from VIPs. Yes. We have less than 400,000 policemen in our country, but the ones who are guiding VIPs, they are probably about half of the policemen that we have.
If I'm a Yahoo boy now or a cocaine baron,
you can get
I'll go to the DPO, I'll pay, and
they will give you. If you have money, they will give you enough.
And the funny thing is that when you approach the police for a genuine case, maybe one day, because I have an experience. I wanted them to help me find a missing person. If you see they try to extort me, money for fine, money for signal, money for this, money for that.
Money,
eventually, they did not help me. We found the person through another means.
So we are sorry, while we are commending our officers,
we don't have a police that is perfect. One good thing about us here is that where we need to praise you, we will praise you. Where we need to criticize you, we will criticize you. Yeah. It is the nature of our job. We are not going to be praising you blindly when you don't deserve it. Those who deserve it, they will be praised. So that's the thing, is we are loyal to our job.
Congratulations to Egbetukun, Olatunji Disu, Frank Umba, those commissioner of police, 32
and even
of them.
This, the police commissioner in Lagos, is one of the brightest officers.
The new
correct one, the principal staff officer,
PSO to
different IGs. And this is what you are saying. If you are brilliant at your job, even when an IG is leaving, the next one is thinking of making use of you. That's the way Owohunwa. I had been reading about Owohunwa for some time. He's like an academic in the police. And within a short time here, what he did, the way he quelled the fighting over Naira in Lagos, he got commendation. He got commendation. So where people are brilliant, wherever you take them to, they will excel. This is what we are seeing. And there are still many bright people in the police that you don't even read about them. People who are catching robbers, dealing with criminals. And as I've said repeatedly, there are people in this same police, that some bad people have given a bad name. This same police that you cannot bribe them. Do you know that they exist? That you can't bribe them. Neither can you offer them women. Because even women, they will not take from you. They will not take money from you. In this same police.
And for a man to escape those two vices.
If you do not humanize, you do not worship money. You're already close to Aljana now.
Honestly.
In fact, your staircase to Aljana is already paved in gold.
Honestly.
That's the way it is. To escape those two things, we know what we are talking about. To escape it, if you escape money, you will be a womanizer. There are people like that. If they don't like money that much, but they like women. There are some of them, you can't bribe them with money.
Most annoying
but the most dangerous is you like
combined, yes.
That means you are
money.
The most annoying thing.
That means you are the definition of a man full of vices. If you actually have both. Even the Bible says some sins are greater than others. The sin against the Holy Spirit, for example, is greater than others. No, let those pastors not think they are the only people who know the Bible.
All right. Nigeria's president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a happy man for adding another year at this auspicious moment in the country. Tinubu says his victory at the February 25th presidential election is the greatest gift he could receive as he celebrates his 71st birthday. The president-elect said he would use the day as an opportunity to reiterate his commitment to the task of rebuilding the country and renewing the hope of the people. Pro-Tinubu at 71.
Yeah, the most wonderful thing about this, the president-elect, is that he's very humble in victory. He's very humble in victory.
That's a very valid point.
It's a very I read that.
They are saying that people are not jubilating. Somebody won, they are not jubilating. If you jubilate again, they will say you are rubbing it in. You know, exactly. The same people don't even want us
but if there's anybody that has
to talk about as if that victory didn't take place.
If there's anybody that has reasons to gloat, that has reason to be proud, it is Tinubu. Whether we like it or not, this man has paid his dues politically. He has paid his dues in this country, starting from the time that we all know the role he played
on the military
in the struggle against we know how he went on exile and all of that. We know the role he played in Lagos. He has been a person that you may not like him. You don't need to like him, but the truth of the matter is you cannot deny the obvious. It is only those who are mischievous. It is only those who, just try to, for malicious reasons, try to, just pay for the things he has done. But the man, I said that the greatest gift is that I won this election. Yeah. And he also said something, I will not fail. The Nigerians will hold him to his word. He has made a lot of promises, beautiful manifesto. He made promises about security. He made promises on education. He said it categorically. He said a 4-year course will be a 4-year course. He promised student loans. He promised forest guards forest guards to patrol the forest. So he made promises on the people who hold him up to, and I think he knows what is ahead of him. But one thing I will still insist on is that, you see, we've never had, yes, Nigeria has always been like this, but the hate, the level of hate this time is too much. You understand? We are so divided, we are so polarized. So it is incumbent upon the president to find, the president-elect, and of course going to find ways to repair the country. I hope that, of course, I know that Tinubu won't be making unguided utterances like calling people dot in a circle and all of those tactless statements,
You don't go now.
So it won't do that.
Dot in a circle is done.
So leave him to go and rest. So he was stigmatized. He was abused. The road to this presidency, Jide, I can't even imagine. At a point in time, he was, he wasn't taken serious. A lot of people, they did everything to stop him. But he kept his eyes on that ball, and he kept moving. At a point in time, the popular song was "Hand the Shake, Leg the Shake."
Baba we know well. They shout "Emi lokan." Baba we know well. They shout "Emi lokan." Hand the shake, leg the shake. Baba we know well. They shout "Emi lokan."
So, and I kept watching him all through the campaign.
The day they presented that thing, you people were in Abuja. When they gave him that thing, I was watching out to see whether that hand will shake. That video is there. They can even show us. I said, let's see whether this hand will shake. And he held that certificate of return. He held it aloft. And I was waiting to see whether it will shake.
I think we have the visual.
The thing remained ramrod straight.
Out of
the way he held it.
Hatred and bitterness, they composed that song.
They didn't give him a chance. They thought he would lose the election. There are some of my friends in Europe who are saying no.
The Hausas
will vote for their people. They will vote for their person. They underrated the network of friends that the man had made over the years. They underrated the impact of governors, and some people who are not governors but powerful people. You look at a state like Sokoto, Serikin Yama, Magataka Wamako, the kind of support that people give him, the crowd that he controls. He's not a sitting governor anymore.
Reflected on the presidential and the governorship
Nobody has the crowd that he has in that state. There are people like that. So you just dismiss somebody, and in all of this, Asiwaju was focused. He was confident that he would win the election. He was confident.
At the point in time, he said he stopped looking at it, reading what was on social media. He said it. He said, no.
You just give yourself. We have some of our colleagues that they have social media handles, but they don't check what to post there. Some of us check. We go there to dismiss errant people from our walls.
Some
to sanitize our walls.
We check, we keep quiet. We see words that you need
to have a very thick skin.
But you see, back to what we are talking about. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has never failed in public service. Whoever says he has failed in public service should show us how he failed. And so much is expected of him. Because, and I know that the first 6 months will be very difficult. Because subsidy will be gone. So he's going to walk into a climate of bitterness, of anger. But he has to find the best people to work for him. Best people. And when we talk about best people, he did it in Lagos. He didn't use career politicians. Yeah. He brought in what he called, I'm using his words, he called them expatriates. The people that he brought in to work with him, expatriates, including the current VP, you know, because they had never been in politics. Come and do the job of Attorney General for me. Read the Lagos judiciary of corrupt individuals. And that's what...
The position that judiciary until tomorrow.
And yes.
Number one.
And he gave them the welfare that they needed, gave them new cars and all that, the kind of welfare package that was not existing in other states. So judges were happy to work in Lagos and to deliver the goods. And Oshibajo showed the dirty judges, he showed them the door. What Oshibajo told Asiwaju was, look, when I start to remove these people, don't get involved. You have given me a job to do, don't get involved. And Asiwaju assured him, oh, I won't get involved. You are a lawyer, you know them. Whatever you do, I agree. And that's how those judges were swept away. And we started seeing women
back to back
who were in who occupied the back street of Lagos journalism. They started coming to the fore. Chief Judge of Lagos State, woman. The next one, Chief Judge, woman again. That is after those dirty men had been chased away. And I know that at the national level, he's going to do the same thing. It's not, he has the strength of character to be to say this is what I want, and he will do it.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
In that race, who won 6 states in the north, 6 in the south.
Yeah.
That's what he did. No other person.
The spread is there.
Person. And he's the only, he had
25%
in more than the required number of states. Others didn't even get close. Because what are we talking about? The route to so have 25% in up to 20 states. But they are laying claim to the thing now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's even worrisome that some people are saying that election should be cancelled.
Why would they cancel it?
Because you didn't win an election?
And then it must be
because you are not the runner-up?
No, and the whole thing, you know, the presidential election, the whole argument is, oh, they did not post result on IREF. That's the main argument, oh. Not that they have a stack of evidence about irregularities, because even that presidential election was much better than the governorship election.
In terms of compliance.
In terms of compliance and the way it went against incumbents. So if 20 governors,
a lot of people
if 20 governors
lost
their states, They should tell me when we ever had an election with that kind of attrition
and the man
rate.
they called Lagos landlord losing his own
He
Lagos
lost, yeah.
for the
He
first
lost,
time
yeah.
since 1999.
My own issue here is that, okay, it's okay. You can even disagree. You are right to disagree. I mean, there's nothing wrong in if you are convinced that the man who won the election was not validly elected. It's fine. Go to court, you've gone to court. But it is treasonable.
Go and present those.
Go and present your facts. And of course, you know, the judges will not go and look for evidence for you. They will not help you. You will bring your evidence and they will evaluate your evidence and give the judge accordingly.
Beyond reasonable doubt.
I think they know that they don't have enough evidence because these parties made threatening judges.
That's the kind of
subversive and
very subversive, yes.
asinine statement that he made, threatening judges, suggests that he already imagines what could happen. Because there's no point. Why are you threatening judges saying they should not risk their lives? What is the risk to their lives?
It's not right. That means you don't even trust. You are saying that you don't trust.
And you see,
you're even mocking yourself because it's self-mockery.
What are we even talking about? Obi, they rigged him out of an election. Obi came, went to court. This same court gave it back to him.
As the governor of Anambra State.
Yes. The same judiciary that you are mocking restored to his position.
They started this staggered election.
It happened with him now. That okay.
Yes.
So him begin his fresh 4-year. According to Falana, he wanted to simply complete
the term
that this man started, Ngige. But the judges said no. You are entitled to your 4 years.
He challenged it in court again. And they said yes from the day.
You are entitled to your 4 years. And he enjoyed this thing. So it will be unfair and uncharitable for anyone with a sense of history who knows that Obi actually
got justice
from the Nigerian judiciary to be mocking the judiciary and be trying to turn the people against the judiciary. Even before the case officially kicked off. What kind of thing is that?
Obi has always expressed his confidence on the judiciary, so that's why he's in courts. But
or could it be because that
Senate was removed?
But if you did not win properly, you deserve to lose your position. You can't cheat.
Obi has been very circumspect.
You can't cheat. You can't cheat the winner. You can't cheat the winner and expect that the winner won't get justice.
Obi has been.
He wanted to be a senator, but he was removed by the tribunal.
Obi has been circumspect for the most part in his utterances. But what Dati said is very, very responsible. Very, very responsible. We must learn to trust institutions. And you cannot, life will not always give you what you want. So if you go to court and the court says, throw your evidence out, take it like that.
Why should life even give you what you want if you do not deserve it?
Exactly.
If you didn't win an election, why should you then expect to
can't always have what you want. Nobody always has what they want in the world.
I think they will have a kind of uphill task in proving that the runner-up.
It's up to them. The runner-up is even unprecedented in our history. It's usually the runner-up that goes to court, you know? Because look at what Atiku is asking, that they should even cancel the election and organize a rerun between two persons. So he's already thinking of inheriting Obi's votes. You know, the game is clear now. You know, so pastors, stationary store supporters in those days, they played an accord game. So when they were playing that accord game, somebody will fall down. He will now use tie to push the ball to the foot of the opponent. So the store supporters started grumbling at Oneka. Wow. It's an accord game. I think what we flash flamingos also there.
I don't forget that Obi is also requesting that Ashwaju's to be barred from contesting that a fresh election, that election should be cancelled and a fresh election. So when we get to that court, let's see.
We leave them. We are not lawyers. We are not lawyers. We are not the judge.
So
we are not the judge.
Now, there are always two sides to issues and events unfolding about the February 25th presidential election. Attests to that. Hundreds of protesters under the aegis of natives have protested on the streets of Abuja to defend outcome of the election and warn opposition elements against canvassing for the imposition of an interim government on the country. The protesters specifically told the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and Labour Party, Peter Obi, to drop such idea, declaring nobody's mandate was stolen. Also, the national coordinator of the Southwest Agenda for Asiwaju Swaga, Dayo Adeyeye, said lovers of democracy will oppose the idea of any interim government ahead of May 29 presidential inauguration. What is this talk about interim government?
That's the
latest kites. After losing the election?
Before the election, the idea of, we started hearing about this idea of interim government.
So no elections should not be conducted. So that
they didn't want elections.
They saw
yeah, some people
they saw the handwriting on the wall
and they saw who was likely to win, and they didn't want that to happen. So they started talking about interim government. Okay, they proceeded with the elections. Some have still not stopped. You know, I said something here that in the history of politics in our country, Nigerian politicians are devious and they are bad losers. An election, some young people who are still in their diapers, the last time we had a military rule, they went to the defense headquarters to plead that the military should take power.
What?
Have you ever imagined this level of madness that we could get to this?
Wow.
Do they know what it means for military to take over power? Do they know how many people we lost? People like Bagalda Kalto just tortured to death because the military cannot even stand being resisted, or people arguing. Some of these cyber mobsters who are cyber criminals who are lying against people, attacking people anyhow. Do they think they can do it under a military rule? Do people even think sometimes about what they are pushing for? The military should have used tear gas or whatever to chase them out of that place, because that's subversion.
I don't know.
How can you go to that extent because you lost an election? You're asking
anywhere.
for military rule? Where in the world are people asking for military rule now? Where in the world? If we are not
going to defense headquarters,
if we are not people who think in a backward manner, who are the people in the world now asking for military rule?
Bad losers.
Terribly bad losers. Now it's clear that some of them are even terrorists. I think it makes sense to think that because it fits the agenda for things to collapse totally.
So
it is the agenda of the terrorists. What are we talking about? Because you lost an election? And I've given an example. Why didn't Kwankwaso lost the election the other day now?
Kano.
It was special, it came back.
Yes.
Today it's more popular.
The person that won today, he was leading in 2019, if you remember, with 43,000 votes.
Yes.
And it was overturned in Gama, in National Local Government.
Yes. Today he won again.
Today he won again.
He won again.
Heaven did not fall.
He did not call for violence. He did not call for military rule. These boys are taking things too far. When we talk now, they will say, oh, how can I as a person, after what we went through with the military, we lost some of our friends. They jailed my boss, Kunle Ajibade, over a coup that did not exist. And then I will sit here and be happy with someone calling for military rule. In those days, I was always running from one. I never stayed in one place. I was running today, I'm in Maiduguri. The next day, I'm in Jos. I can't even stay in one place and walk. They want to return us to that era. God will not answer their prayer.
Amen.
Because this is a very stupid thing to do. To go and be kneeling down asking for military rule. What has come over these boys? I've never seen anything like this.
I think many of them did not study history in school. You know, some of us were grown up enough to understand what was going on during that period. You know, but Some of us were teenagers, some of us were in our 20s. Journalists were persecuted. Chris Ayahu, Nero Malaulu, only Ajibade that you mentioned, Bagauda Kauto, state-sponsored killing, Pa Ferdouani, the wife of Kudirat Abiola.
They were killing people.
People were being killed.
Sergeant Rogers.
I remember the June 12th crisis. I will never forget. I walked to Alasea and I saw a dead body, stone and everything. I witnessed it. Those were the times that you could not even speak against.
Do you know how many people were killed when Abacha wanted to go to the airport and they were demonstrating? And they wanted to take him through another route. He said, no, that you cannot take me through another route. Take me through where they masked up. Take me through that place. And people were slaughtered by the military. So these unthinking boys, that's where they want to take us back. Because they didn't, they were too little. They were little boys then. They didn't witness it. They want to take us back there. It will not happen.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Stay with us.
Max Millions.
Your favorite cash giveaway is coming this April.
Make your money, babe.
To win a share of the 1 million naira, be the 10th caller on Max FM. When you hear the winning song, beat the clock and win yourself free cash.
You don't win 54,000 naira. Yeah.
From 6 a.m. on the Max Breakfast and throughout the day, we guarantee to give away 1 million naira in Nigeria's radio cash giveaway.
Everybody getting paid.
Max Millions.
When I was younger, I got asked a question by a friend. What is the ultimate dream in life? You see, in my several decades on earth, I have seen trends come and go, hopes dashed and deserted. But the story of success has taught us that the ultimate dream should be one that inspires you to paddle through the odds.
After a fruitful Ramadan day, replenish your body with the right nutrients. Make this your best Ramadan yet. Ramadan Kareem from Hollandia Dairy and Chivita Fruit Juice.
All right, thank you for staying with us. In line with what we're discussing, just the official Twitter handle of the Department of State Services, DSS confirms plots for interim government by misguided political actors. The Department of State Services has identified some key players in the plot for an interim government in Nigeria. The service considered the plots as being pursued by those entrenched interests as not only an aberration, but a mischievous way to set aside the constitution. They went further to say to undermine the civil rule as well as plunge the country into an avoidable crisis. The illegality is totally unacceptable in a democracy and to the peace-loving Nigerians. Did they? Yes. DSS speaking now for those advocates of Interim National Government. It is not in the 1999 Constitution. It will not happen tonight. By the grace of God, the President-elect Bola Tinubu will be sworn in, because counting the number of days that the court will dispense of that litigation, the first is 180 days. After the 180 days, you now have the 60 days. So May 29 is just around the corner. Sorry,
there's no interim government.
No interim. It doesn't fit into the constitution of Nigeria.
You see, the noisy minority does not own our country. This election, people took part both in the north and in the south, and the people who took part in this election the majority of them were from the north. We are not hearing those noises in northern Nigeria. And the people in northern Nigeria are
the way they
are not inferior.
Protest.
They are not inferior to the people here.
If there's anything...
If they were you rob them.
2011. No,
They
no,
will
people that
burn,
died.
they will burn people, they will burn houses.
Bauchi.
What we have seen, they cannot even tolerate rigging in that way. So, but the point that I'm making is, the people who are making all this noise, they are the lousy, noisy minority. Because we are not hearing it in northern Nigeria. Even a preponderance of the voices from the southwest, we are not hearing all these noises from them. So it's just a vocal minority that is trying to plunge our country into crisis. But the plot of the evil people always gets defeated in our country. This is a fact. Because Nigeria is God's project.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, Nigeria is God's project.
This
So
council of Aitofel.
people told us that,
They
told us that even the 2015 election would be the election that would divide Nigeria. The West made all that noise. Nigeria still stood gidigba. So these current noises will still not divide our country. Nigeria will remain one, and Nigeria will regain its pride of place. People can say what they like, but they have no right to be pushing for military rule
or interim government.
They
are stepping out of turn.
They are really fighting beyond their weight category. When you are asking for this, no, we don't want military rule anywhere. Even the Banana Republic, those tiny countries on the Horn of Africa, they are not asking for military rule.
Nobody. System of government is not even accepted.
It just shows that some people. It just shows that this is a case of kakake kuma justice. That is what they want. That's just what they want. They don't care about the consequences as long as somebody does not get there.
In that same spirit, some people will say Atitoka, Babalo Shalowo.
Yeah, let them keep deceiving themselves. The truth of the matter is that May 29, after May 29th, if they ask them any question in exam or an interview, who is the president of your country, let them go and write whatever name they like. The truth of the matter is,
see whether they will pass
ING is foreign to our laws. It is not possible. The law says that the president must hand over to a successor on May 29th.
And the process
Buhari has started the process.
Exactly.
The
transition committee,
the APC, PCC.
Yes.
They even went to inspect the Eagle Square. Exactly. Did you see the pictures? Yep.
They've come up with all sorts of lies. The president is contemplating not handing over
election. He has set up
things.
a transition committee led by Boss Mustafa.
The man said it's not true. And then we can see plans, arrangements are in top gear. And some people are still there, they are still dreaming. I don't know where they are.
A country where people can say that their president is dead, that is somebody that they cloned, that they brought here. America.
And people will believe.
America has not cloned a human being.
No one
Germany, the most advanced country in the whole of Europe, the most technologically advanced country in the whole of Europe, they've not cloned a human being. So it is Nigeria.
It was Jubril.
It is Nigeria that will now clone
Jubril
someone.
From Sudan.
Okay.
Was there. Some educated persons.
Yes, they are served the breakfast.
People that are degree holders actually believe that the person on seat was Jubril from Sudan. And if you see people arguing that time, you don't go to school, should be your teachers should be ashamed of you.
Ajide, the most important thing is that Asiwaju is going to preside over the country, and since
but with good performance,
yes,
and when he makes the right choices, or the people to
he must
work
try
with
to bring everybody together.
The tension,
yes, the country is very, because all this is just a function of that division.
Remember when we lost the former chief of army staff? I suggested here that his deputy that time, the army commander policy and plans, this COPP of the army, General Hanotu, I pleaded that he should be made the chief of army staff.
To come bring them.
Yes. Some of the people who abuse me now that hate the Southeast, they are bigoted, absolute rubbish that they are saying. No journalist alive in this country has asked for the rights of the Southeastern people than me. It's something that I know, I'm certain about. Whether on issues with Jide or here. You know how many times we have pleaded for Nnamdi Kanu to be released here? Even just in the interest of dialogue and all that. Do you know how many times we've done it? That people will say, why? Why are you pleading? Yet they will say, Jide, because we disagree on the presidential election of February 25. They say I'm bigoted, I don't like the Southeast. If I don't like the Southeast, will they give me a traditional title?
Tribalist.
Will they give me a traditional title in the source of the Southeast? If I hate the Southeast?
They're tribalist.
So now, Asiwaju has to take such decisions. And they can find good people in any part of Nigeria, whether Southeast or anywhere. He will begin to impress Nigerians by even the kind of appointment that he makes. He will begin to shut up the noisy critics when he takes the right decisions that show that he has focus and that is determined to lead us in the right direction. You see that tension will come down. Nigerians are not difficult to please.
Honestly,
They are not difficult to please.
They are not asking for much.
Exactly.
Obasanjo, in the first few months of his government in 1999, people were praising him. He solved the problem of fuel scarcity immediately. Everybody started supporting him, even those who didn't vote for him.
That's still it. Paul Dada, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. And Jide,
Thanks.
hope you don't have hangover.
Well, even if I had, it's about time that I got it out of the system.
All right, and that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the replay broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
If you don't use it, it's waste.
We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
He's saying that there was nothing.
Just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties?